Okay, so let's take a look at how you can create an instance of Azure database for MySQL. So to go there, first thing to do is open Microsoft Azure folder, and I hope that you have some free trial or subscription going on. And next thing you to explore is check the all services. In a second or two, it will show you the list of all services, out of which we have to click on database, right? And here you can see Azure database for MySQL server, right? This is what we need. You can also access this from search bar. You can search for this. Alternatively, you have the option from all services database and then Azure database for MySQL server. Now we will go here and we will have to create one instance, right? So this is the page where you can create and destroy those MySQL server instance. So we click on create, right? And once we go to that particular page, here we get the option for the service flexible or WordPress plus MySQL flexible server, right? And there is also Azure database for MySQL single server. As you can see, that is in process of retirement, right? So if you are seeing this in future like 2025 or 26, you will see that it's no longer available. Okay, so here what we can do is we can deploy for flexible server, right? So we'll click on create. Now the thing is, I will have to select some of the parameters for this MySQL deployment, right? Parameters like the zone, resource group, server name, MySQL version, etc. As you can see, the cost associated with it will be listed right here on the right hand side. So what we'll do, we'll start with our subscription. In my case, I have free trial available. I will take advantage of that, but you can decide what to do. Then resource group, I will choose the one I created, right? Then I have server name. Let's name this Dev MySQL, right? And currently it's not available. So what I can do is, let's name this something like this. Okay, so it's available, but it may be deleted soon enough, so I will not use that. So something like MySQL Dev. Hopefully it's unique, right? So let's hope this should be available. So MySQL Dev DB. Here I have region East US selected by default, which will cost me 180 rupees in INR, right? There is workload type option. So let's say I'm doing this for development or hobby projects. I can choose the MySQL version as well. I can choose the latest one, right? And then move on to its parameters. Here as you can see, I have one core, 2 GB, 20 GB storage. So let's see if I can choose smaller than that. For now I feel like that is the only small option I have, right? So I will remove the auto growth option, and we don't need the backups either, right? So we will save this. So it's like 1200 worth of MySQL, right? Then there is no preference for available zone. So currently you can see that we have to go with East US, which is selected by default. Then you have authentication option, right? So I will use MySQL authentication. You can use Azure Active Directory if you are only going to choose cloud option. There is also MySQL plus Azure Directory authentication. You can choose this if you want mix of both. So I'm choosing MySQL authentication. Here I will choose my name, and then comes the password. So let me think over it. Now I'm pasting the password, and both the password match. So I can go ahead and review and create. You can see the price on the right. As you can see, 1155 per month. Okay, so that's understandable. So here you will see the review of our instance. It will take around 5 minutes, right? And the product is Azure database for MySQL, right? It will contain MySQL version 8, right? Backup would be for 7 days, no auto growth, no geo redundancy, and then compute and storage 1 V core, 2 GB RAM. Understandable. And everything else we will set later. There is no encryption as of now other than the one managed by Azure, right? So we will create this and let's see how it goes. So here you can see create a server without firewall rules for now, or you can add firewall rules, right? So for now we can pass without firewall rules, right? And let it deploy. Then we will go for its security settings, and there we can set few parameters, right? So those parameters will be allowing us to filter some set of IPs, and also we will be able to do a lot of things. Now here you see your deployment is successful. Now what we can do, as you can see, we have this go to resource option. We will click on it, which will show you the instance. So basically that instance will show you all the options. For example, let's see, here we have our server name and server admin login name, right? These two we will be using to connect to this particular MySQL database on Azure cloud. So for this we can use Azure Data Studio, or we can use dbeaver, this tool, or we can use MySQL Workbench. All of these three options would be good fit, right? So only using these three things, your password, your username and server name, we would be able to connect, right? Then what we will do is we will basically create a table and perform few operations. Then we will use other database tools to connect and verify the same process. So I will be creating series of different options for you for dbeaver, MySQL Workbench and Azure Data Studio, right? So let's come back to some of the things here, like networking. And here you have few options like connectivity method, allowed IP address, right? Currently we are not setting any rules. We can allow current IP address, okay, and you can allow all the IP address for the time being, right? As long as it is test database, you can do that. Then click on save for this networking option, right? So it should work. Now the next thing is you can also connect with all those options that you have, right? So here you can see if you are creating your connection file and using it to access, and it will fetch those details. You can make files like this, copy this and have it in your application, right? So that's another thing. A lot of other options are here, but now let's only cover one, which is backup. Currently I am not choosing this option because this is test database, and if I backup it would add up on the price load, right? So I'm not going for this particular option, but you get the idea what to do. So once you create your instance, you will have to pay attention to your server name, your login name and make sure to remember the password that you used at the time of creation of this instance, right? We also managed to play around with the security settings so that we can access through this particular IP address. In case if your router resets, make sure to come back here and again add that IP address, otherwise you won't be able to log in and you will keep getting those connection denial errors, right? So this was creating MySQL database instance on Azure cloud.